Steph is 22-4 in the playoffs.
It's insane.
Yeah. His 4 playoff losses are the
Spurs, Cavs,
Raptors.
Oh, yeah. The Raptors. And then last year, I guess, counts.
No, they didn't lose in the playoffs. They got eliminated in the play-in. Yeah. They lost to the Clippers. Mark Jackson's
the Clippers,
last year
that's right.
there. Yeah, first round.
And getting 7 games, that was a year after they lost to the Spurs.
And those 4 series all win at least 6. He's never lost in 5 games. He's never lost in 4 games.
So I'm sure this has been out there. Obviously not the person to discover this stat, but I did think it's notable that now multiple MVPs, 4 championships. It's Jordan, Kareem, Russell, LeBron, Magic, Duncan, and Steph Curry. Like, I don't, if you want to, so here's the asterisk. The asterisk there is, well, no, I was going to say all those guys were unquestionably the best player on their teams, but that's not true because Kareem was obviously the best player on the Bucks. He was the best player on the first 2 Laker championship teams. But by the third, so he, so then maybe him, you give like 3.5. Russell, yes. LeBron, yes. Magic, no. Because we just talked about how Kareem was the best player on those early ones. And then we just talked about Duncan, but Duncan was unequivocally the best for 4 of them. 4 of them. Yeah. Either way, Curry was unequivocally the guy on 2 of them, and was this, the one, whether you want to call it the second best or like the 1B on 2 more. That's a list, man.
The list is impressive that he now put himself in. I think the more special part about this, and this is kind of how I define LeBron's greatness, is like LeBron finished second in MVP in 2006. And he finished second in MVP in 2020.
21 or whatever it was.
Like the year Giannis won his second, LeBron finished second. So like those are MVP caliber seasons 15 years apart. Steph was the best player on the team that won the finals in 2015. I don't care about the Iguodala MVP win.
No intelligent person would disagree with you on that.
Right. So he's the best player in 2015. Then in 2022, I guess that's 8 years later, he's the best player on another finals team. Like, that's greatness with longevity, which I think means more to me than like a peak of a couple of years and then, you fall off the mountaintop a bit.
Yeah, I mean, so let's do two more quick things, then we'll move on to the Celtics before we get out of here. The top 10 conversation. Do you agree with my top 8, by the way?
It's going to be tough to get past my 7. That's where the conversation we were having last night.
Who do you not have that I have? So for anybody who doesn't know what we're talking about, so my top 8, which to me are rock solid, are Jordan in some order: Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Shaq. Not Shaq. Bird, Magic, and Tim Duncan. Those are my top 8. Who do you not have from that
Shaq
group? I don't know. I don't have Shaq. Sorry. Let me say again: Jordan, LeBron, Kareem, Russell, Wilt, Bird, Magic, Duncan. That's 8.
So then Steph would be. So my 8 would be. It's probably going to take another one for Steph to pass Duncan, but I think there's a conversation.
So we have the same top 8.
Yes, that's okay. Like that. Those are the guys, and then the 2 Lakers, Kobe and Shaq, are a conversation that I'd also like to have. But I think Steph passed Shaq for me, so I'd have him 10. And I think I know this is heresy to anybody that loved the guy, and I don't blame you if you have him ahead of Steph Curry. Fine, but Kobe Bryant. There is a portion of his career that if he never plays with Shaq or a Hall of Fame power forward, does he get out of the first round? Was struggling to get out of the first round before Pau Gasol got there.
I had a thought last night that I don't want to say out loud because I'm sure going to piss some people off.
Well,
but it's Patreon.
So you have to. Yeah.
I just don't know how else to say this, so I'm going to come out and say it. What is Kobe's career if he got drafted by the Nets?
By the Nets, yeah.
Or the Hornets.
Is he?
Well, he did get drafted by the Hornets. Or
like, is he Tracy McGrady? Like, does he have the exact same career path?
Or you know who the other name I said? And he was better than this guy. 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 I want to be very clear about this. But like, are we looking at a Carmelo Anthony-ish career?
The funny part is, well, okay, I want to give Kobe a little more credit in that the defense that Kobe played was better than Carmelo Anthony ever played in his career. So
100%.
Like, there's a different trajectory there.
But like, you want to talk about when you talk about the best shot makers the last 20 years, pretty sure. I mean, I don't know who the top 5 are, but like T-Mac, Kobe, and Melo, or I think they're all in the conversation for the top 5, right?
And then like Durant and Steph show up, and who knows?
Yeah, like, but that's different kind of shit. I'm talking about pre 3-point at the pre like 3-pointers dominate the game shot making. So really, what we're talking about is like post Jordan, pre Steph.
The long twos, the long two era. Yes.
No, well, and that is why people will have Kobe in their top 10s, and nothing you could ever do or say will get him out of there, because that dude made more tough shots, by the classical definition of tough shots, than anyone in the history of the game. And yet, like, people want to scoff when you bring up efficiency with Kobe Bryant as if it is sacrilege and it's this basketball nerd thing that is meant to diminish what like real hoopers know about the game. And like, I actually will agree with part of that, but at the same time, I can't not look at Jordan's efficiency playing much the same. Like, the sport did not change markedly from the 90s to the 2000s.
Right.
Go look at what Jordan shot in those finals. Now, good, that's Jordan. He's the best player of all time. But the difference between Jordan and Kobe in terms of what they're like, I'm like, efficiency matters. I'm sorry. When we're talking about the 10 best players ever, it matters. It matters. It matters.
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny. For the longest time, why people picked Kobe over LeBron was the Jordan, like, I'm taking the last shot no matter what in Kobe. And it's why the Lakers struggled to get out of the first round for a while. Kobe's Achilles heel, no pun intended, because obviously his Achilles heel actually is what ended his career. But like for a long time, Kobe's, kryptonite was he goes 1-on-5 entirely too often in playoff moments, in big moments. And he never had teammates that were good enough that allowed him to go 1-on-5, allowed him to trust at times that he could pass to a Lamar Odom or an Andrew Bynum or a Pau Gasol. And it's why LeBron, like, he knew, yes, I'm double teamed, I should pass to the wide open player. And for the majority of his Cleveland time, the first time around, that player was a scrub. And as a result, it was like, yeah, you made the right play passing to Daniel Gibson or to Damon Jones or Anderson Varejao. But like, those are lottery teams, without you. So LeBron making the smarter play and being efficient and having the numbers that we're going to look back at and be like, wow, you're the greatest the statistical player that the game has ever seen.
It's not going to be close.
So it's funny that is the separator now, that Kobe's efficiency is what people loved about him. Like, he didn't care about efficiency. He knew that the best shot was him taking it, regardless of whether it went in or not. And now here we are, obviously after his life, but after his career. And we're looking at it like, are we sure that the efficiency numbers don't matter when it comes to evaluating him all time? Having said all of that, his impact on the game, we talked about this last year when we were talking about, like, it was weird. I think we were doing the promo tour for Final Review. Like, the comp for Kobe to like evaluating a great movie is The Dark Knight, where The Dark Knight's legacy.
That's a good call.
The Dark Knight's legacy.
That's a good call.
It's probably not something you can point to on screen and be like, oh, this is all time great. But the impact and the people that love that movie, what it did to the industry. It's like, oh, we should take superhero movies seriously. Oh, we should add 5 more Oscar nominees to the Best Picture category. Oh, we can look at these and think they're good and not just campy and whatever Batman 1999 was, So like Kobe,
and you love it. That's the other part of it. There are great movies that are not loved.
Yeah. Kobe has inspired a generation of basketball players like current NBA
Jason Tatum.
Players. Shout out Jason Tatum, who had a Kobe-esque efficiency. I shouldn't say that because he actually had a pretty efficient finals when you really look at it.
Well, he did because, but again, I mean, if you want to, again, this conversation go in so many different ways. What would Kobe be if the 3-point shot was more of a thing when he was coming up? Like that's what rescued Tatum's efficiency is his threes. He
inspired a generation of basketball players to work hard. And it's the way that Michael Jordan inspired him to work hard. And that Mamba mentality thing that Jeff Perlman, when I talked to him last year about his book, like that's a thing. There are people like waiting tables or working construction
for sure
in the world right now that are like, I'm going to get through the end of this long shift because Kobe Bryant inspired me to.
Yeah.
Which is why if someone puts Kobe in their top 5, I'm like, you know what? Impact wise, I get it. Like there's a generation of players that are like, I grew up admiring Kobe Bryant, and he's in. Like Tatum has said, I don't take anybody's top 5 seriously if Kobe's not in it. And it's like, I disagree, but like you play, I respect it. The person you have modeled your career after, you're going to put him in your top 5. As far as impact goes, that's where Kobe falls. What's going to be fascinating as you and I now get older and watch a new generation of players that love taking 60-foot 3-pointers is when does Steph start getting that conversation? Because like he wins another one that's 5 championships. It's more than LeBron.
Goodness.
And like he's the guy for 2 of them. And then we go back and look at those first 3, and it's like, well, he's the guy for 3 of them. And he basically, created this unfair thing when Kevin Durant went there.
I don't think he ever gets there. I think maybe it becomes a conversation with him and Duncan.
Mm-hmm. You don't think he could pass the 2 80s guys? I don't think Kareem's a different thing because there's a decade that Kareem dominated before Magic showed up. But
there are 3 players that I never want to hear a discussion about, and it's Jordan, LeBron, and Kareem.
Yes,
and Kareem, just no. If someone enters that conveation, my goodness, will we be lucky? What's that?
Luka, obviously. Sorry. I derailed you.
I don't know. Steph to me, and I'm not. Bernard's a better. We should get Bernard on here for this. Steph to me is like the way people talk about like Joe DiMaggio, because if you look at DiMaggio's numbers, like the numbers are not the same. And like you're gonna look at Steph's numbers and like accolades and this and that by the time he hangs it up. But like, there's a reason Joe DiMaggio was like it's Joe DiMaggio.
Yeah.
And I think for anybody who watches Steph and will remember Steph 10, 20, 30 years down the line, they're going to just be like, yeah, there was never anybody like him.